You ever notice how people get quieter when they're running out of time? Not calmer, quieter. Like every second that slips through their fingers turns into a secret they're trying to swallow before anyone else can taste it. And there she is. This woman everyone thinks they understand. Everyone thinks they can read like an open book. But her pages are glued shut. Her ink is smudged. Her last chapter written in a handwriting even she refuses to look at too closely. She's fading. Yes, but she's also performing, acting like nothing has happened. Like the clock behind her isn't ticking loud enough to shake the room. It's fascinating, isn't it? How a person can be moments from the edge and still pretend the ground beneath them is steady. Imagine someone clinging to a secret, like it's the last thread holding their world together, even when that thread is already frayed and burning at both ends. She hides the truth, not because it's clever or dramatic or noble, but because fear has this funny habit of dressing itself up as protection. You'd think honesty would bring relief, a little oxygen into the room, but no, fear whispers, don't say a word. They won't understand, they'll make it worse. So she listens. She folds herself inward. She buries the truth deep enough that even her own reflection starts forgetting what's real. It's almost impressive, watching someone try to outrun a shell while standing in the dark. And the people around her, oh, they're not clueless. They see the signs. They see the tremors, the pauses, the fading fire in her eyes. But pretending not to see is so much easier, isn't it? After all, if they don't acknowledge it, they don't have to deal with it. Humans love illusions when the truth feels a little too sharp to hold. They smile at her, ask the usual questions, nod politely, and keep their distance. Just enough so they don't have to confront the reality pressing in from all sides. They convince themselves they're being respectful, giving her space, letting her deal with it. But really they're just afraid to touch something that feels too close to their own fears. So she keeps performing. Strength becomes her costume, silence her makeup. Every morning she puts on the same mask. Steady eyes, steady voice, steady lies. She dismisses the pain with a wave, dodges the questions with a joke, and lets people believe what they want, because it's easier that way. She's fighting battles no one can see, and she knows if she lets even one crack show, everything she's holding up might collapse in front of them. People admire her bravery, her toughness, her resilience, not realizing these are just words they throw around to avoid asking the real questions. Her silence speaks louder than she ever could. It's in the way she lingers before answering simple things. The way her eyes drift when someone mentions the future. The way she clutches at moments like she knows they're slipping through her fingers. And still, no one pushes. No one dares. They're all too afraid that knowing the truth would force them to do something uncomfortable like care in a way that actually costs something. You see, the weight she carries isn't just the ticking inside her body. It's the pressure of pretending she's fine for the sake of everyone who can't handle seeing her struggle. It's funny how the strongest ones aren't the loud fighters or the dramatic screamers. It's the ones who are dying quietly inside yet still manage to make everyone else feel safe. She's holding up more than her own pain. She's holding up everyone else's need for normal. And the people watching her, they're terrified. Not of losing her, no, that realization comes later. They're terrified because her truth forces them to face their own fragility. If she can crumble, then what does that say about them? If she, with all her silence and grace, is losing ground, then maybe they don't stand on such solid ground either. So they avoid her truth like it's contagious. They avoid her eyes, her pauses, the quiet signals she sends that she's slipping. They think avoiding it protects them, but all it really does is leave her more alone in the storm. Her struggle becomes a kind of mirror, a reflection of what it means to be human, fragile, scared, pretending. She hides the third stage like it's some secret sin, but really it's the most human thing about her. The cracks in her armor don't make her weak, they make her real. And watching her, you realize something no one likes to admit. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who break in silence, who keep walking even when every step feels like a goodbye, who fight battles the world refuses to acknowledge simply because those battles make everyone else uncomfortable. People love to pretend. They don't notice the obvious. They act like detectives with their eyes closed, swearing they see nothing while tripping over the evidence lying right at their feet. Everyone around her sees the signs, how could they not? The way her breath trembles at the edge of every laugh, the way she grips the nearest surface when she thinks no one is watching, the way her smile has become a ghost of what it used to be. They see the shadows under her eyes, the stiffness in her steps, the way she folds her arms across her body like she's trying to keep herself from falling apart. But instead of confronting what's right in front of them, they choose to politely tiptoe around it like it's some delicate piece of art they're afraid to breathe on. You know why? Because acknowledging her struggle would demand something from them. Effort, empathy, maybe even responsibility. And nothing terrifies people more than the possibility of being needed in a moment that isn't convenient. So they pretend she's fine, pretend the cracks aren't widening, pretend the silence isn't screaming. They convince themselves they're being respectful, that they're giving her space, when in truth they're just afraid. Afraid to ask the question whose answer they already know. Afraid to look into her eyes and see the truth she's been carrying alone. It's almost amusing watching them dance around her, like she's a fragile vase about to shatter. They whisper to each other instead of to her. They speculate, they wonder. They exchange nervous glances when she stumbles or pauses, but no one dares to say the words out loud. They're like children convinced that if they don't name the monster in the dark, it might just go away. But the monster doesn't disappear just because you close your eyes. It grows, and she feels every inch of it. She notices their avoidance. Of course she does. She's not blind. She watches the way they look away when she winces, the way they fill conversations with nonsense so they don't have to acknowledge the tension hanging between them, the way they speak to her with soft, careful voices like she's already halfway gone. And that's the cruelest part, being surrounded by people yet feeling completely invisible at the same time. Their silence weighs heavier than her illness. Their polite cowardice becomes another burden she has to carry, another truth she has to swallow. There's something tragic in how predictable people are. They don't confront pain, they skirt around it. They don't comfort those who suffer, they wait until the suffering becomes too loud to ignore. They wait for the collapse, for the drama, for the tears, because only then can they play the role of the supportive friend without having to deal with the slow, quiet parts of someone's unraveling. They want the performance, not the process. They want the moment they can say, I was there, without ever actually being there. And isn't it fascinating how they all pretend they're doing the right thing? They justify their inaction with soft excuses. She doesn't want to talk about it. She'll tell us when she's ready. She's strong. Strong. That word gets tossed around so casually, like it's a compliment instead of a sentence. They call her strong so they don't have to step in. They label her resilience so they can hide their discomfort. They glorify her silence so they can keep hiding in their own. But deep down, they know. They know she's hiding something heavy. They know she's not fine. They know the third stage she carries is not just a secret. It's a scream she's burying under layers of forced normalcy. And instead of reaching for her hand, they sit on the sidelines, waiting. Waiting for what? A collapse they can mourn? A moment dramatic enough to justify their delayed concern. People love tragedies as long as they're watching from the audience. They love to feel the emotion without taking any of the impact. While she fights in silence, they watch in silence. And that's the cruel symmetry of it all. The truth is right there, written all over her skin, her breath, her movements. Everyone sees it. No one admits it. They'd rather maintain the illusion than face the discomfort of reality. Because the moment they acknowledge her pain, they're forced to do something about it. And doing something would require courage, something much rarer than they like to admit. Denial can be a beautiful little prison, can it? A place where someone can tuck away the truth and pretend it doesn't exist, even while it eats at them from the inside. She wears her silence like armor, polished and convincing. The kind that fools everyone except the mirror she avoids. Every movement, every strained breath, every forced smile is a quiet confession, but instead of speaking it, she chooses to hide behind the performance she's mastered. And oh, she performs well. She has to, because if she lets one truth slip, even one, the whole fragile illusion she's built might come crashing down in front of the very people she's trying so desperately to protect. You watch her, and you can't help but notice she become a professional at dodging reality. Ask her how she's feeling, and she turns it into a joke. Ask about her day, and she tells you everything except how she actually is. She shields the truth like a scandalous secret, pressing it tight behind her ribs as if her grip alone could stop it from spreading. And isn't it strange? She hides not because she's proud or stubborn, but because fear has wrapped itself around her like a second skin. Fear of pity, fear of burdening others, fear of seeing in their eyes what she already knows deep down, that the third stage she's hiding isn't just an illness, but a clock running out of time. People think denial is weakness, but in her case, it's a kind of twisted strength. She knows exactly what she's facing, even if she refuses to say it. She feels the fragility every morning. She hears the warning signs in her own body. She senses the quiet countdown beneath her skin, yet she keeps walking, keeps smiling, keeps stitching up the loose threads of her story so no one can pull the truth out of her. There's something almost admirable in this determination to protect others from her own pain. She carries a secret heavy enough to crush her, but she still straightens her shoulders so no one has to share the weight. Every time the pain hits, you can see the shadow cross her face, the brief flicker of truth before she forces it back down. She hides it with a breath, a joke, a change of subject. She hides it with the same desperate precision as someone trying to cover a crack in a dam with their bare hands. And she thinks if she hides it long enough, maybe it won't be real. Maybe the truth will get tired of knocking and decide to leave her alone. But truth has a stubborn way of sticking around, clawing its way up no matter how many blankets she throws over it. Her silence creates a strange tension in the air, like a storm gathering behind closed curtains. People feel it, even if they can't name it. They sense something's wrong, something she's not telling them, something hovering between every word she doesn't say. But she plays her part so well that they second-guess their instincts. That's the power of a good performance. It convinces the audience that the actor's pain is imaginary, even when it's the only real thing on stage. She hides because she doesn't want to be someone's tragedy. She doesn't want her name to become a whisper in sympathetic conversations or an excuse for people to change how they treat her. She wants to stay herself, not a diagnosis, not a pity project, not an object of fragile concern. And because she can't bear the idea of breaking the hearts of the people she loves, she chooses to break her own in silence instead. That's the cruel part. She thinks hiding the truth protects them when all it does is isolate her. But here's the irony. The harder she tries to hide the third stage, the more visible it becomes. It leaks through the cracks of her composure. It shows up in her slow steps, her shaky hands, the way she holds herself like she's trying to keep from unraveling. She thinks no one notices, but they do. They notice everything. They just don't know how to reach her through the wall she's built. And she doesn't realize that her silence, her avoidance, her determination to go through it alone, they're the very things that make her pain louder than any confession ever could. She hides the truth because she's terrified of what happens when she stops hiding. She fears the questions, the reactions, the shift in how people see her. She fears being seen as fragile when she's spent her entire life pretending to be unbreakable. So she wraps herself in denial like a cloak, hoping it'll be enough to keep everyone at a safe emotional distance. But denial isn't safety. It's a slow suffocation, one she endures with a brave, trembling smile, thinking it's better this way for everyone involved. It's strange how silence can say everything a person is trying so hard to hide. She doesn't confess a thing, yet her quiet speaks louder than any scream. It's in the way her eyes shift when someone asks a simple question, the way her breath catches in her throat, like she's trying to swallow an entire truth whole. She thinks she's hiding it, but silence has a way of betraying the body. It trembles in her hands. It tremors in her pauses. It leaks through the air around her, thick enough for anyone to taste if they were brave enough to get close. But people don't get close. do they? They keep a safe distance, pretending they don't notice the storm brewing behind her calm expression. Her silence is a language all its own, and it's fluent in things no one wants to translate. She doesn't need to say what stage she's in. The room already feels like it knows. You can sense it by how she moves carefully, like life has suddenly become a fragile object she's terrified of breaking. But she never says why. She never lets the truth escape her lips. She thinks silence is control. Like if she just keeps her mouth shut, she can manage the narrative. She can decide who knows what, who worries, who doesn't. But control is a slippery little thing, and the tighter she grips it, the more it wriggles out between her fingers. People watch her, observing every subtle shift without daring to ask. They pretend her silence means nothing. They treat it like a passing mood, a bit of tiredness, a busy mind. They treat it like anything except what it really is, a wall she's built, because she's afraid of what will happen when it falls. They tiptoe around her, avoiding any topic that might crack the surface, because silence makes cowards of everyone. No one wants to be the one who asks the question that shatters her composure. No one wants to witness the truth spill out and realize they can't put it back. Her quiet isn't peaceful. It's the kind of silence you get in a room where something important is missing. The kind that feels heavy, like a warning pressed into the air. You can feel it tug on your nerves, making you glance at her a little too long, trying to decode something she'll never say. It's almost like she's waiting for someone to notice, someone to pull the truth out of her without forcing her to speak it. But when no one steps forward, she retreats further, convinced the silence protects everyone, convinced she's doing the right thing, convinced that hiding her fear makes her stronger, when really it's just isolating her. That's the tragedy of silent suffering. It makes the person feel noble while making everyone else feel powerless. She thinks she's sparing the people around her. She doesn't see that she's creating a distance that makes her harder to reach with every passing day. She thinks silence keeps her dignity intact. But dignity isn't lost in admission it, as lost in pretending you're not drowning while everyone else watches from the shore. What she doesn't realize is that silence can be louder than panic. It draws attention. It creates tension. It makes people uncomfortable because they sense something is wrong but have no shape or name to give it. They start talking in hushed tones when she leaves the room. They exchange glances when she coughs too long or stands up too slowly. Her silence becomes the topic she's desperately trying to avoid. Her attempt to hide only amplifies the very thing she wants to suppress. And oh, the irony, she thinks silence keeps the truth locked inside, but silence is the truth, just wearing a different costume. It tells the story she refuses to speak. It confesses everything she's trying to protect. It betrays her with every sigh, every grimace she pretends is nothing, every pause where her strength falters for just a second too long. She keeps her mouth shut, thinking it makes her the strong one. But sometimes silence isn't strength. Sometimes it's fear dressed up in a calm expression, hoping no one notices how fast the heart is beating underneath. But they do notice. They see the weight she carries even though she never puts it into words. They feel the heaviness of her unspoken truth every time she walks into the room. They sense that something is slipping, even if she keeps insisting she's fine. And yet, no one breaks the silence. No one says what they're thinking. Her silence becomes their silence, a shared secret. No one has the courage to unravel. And there she stands, a quiet storm in human form, hiding the third stage behind a mask of calmness that fools everyone except the ones who look closely enough to see the cracks forming at the edges. Ever notice how people love pretending they're brave? Right up until life starts peeling back their layers one by one, like some cosmic comedian unwrapping a joke they didn't know they were part of. It's funny in a twisted sort of way. They walk around acting like they've got everything handled, everything figured out, everything tucked neatly behind their carefully stitched smiles. But the moment the shadows get too close, the moment something real claws at their door, suddenly they're scrambling for masks, stories, excuses. They think hiding the truth is the same thing as beating it. They think silence can negotiate with fate. And oh, that's the best part, watching someone believe they can outsmart the very thing devouring them from the inside. Because pain has a way of teaching lessons no polite conversation ever could. It drags people into honesty. Real honesty. Not the polished, socially acceptable version, but the raw, shivering, trembling truth they bury under soft blankets and loud distraction. And when someone reaches that point where the truth can no longer be ignored, their whole world starts shaking. Their habits, their beliefs, their illusions, all trembling like cheap glass in a thunderstorm. It's in that trembling, in that delicate moment, that you can see what they really are. Not what they pretend to be, not what they're trying to convince others of, what they are. And this woman, this dying woman trying to hide the third stage, oh, she's not hiding it because she's weak. No. She's hiding it because she thinks strength is silence. She thinks bravery is swallowing the screams. She thinks protecting others means pretending everything is fine, while the floor under her feet is already cracking. That's the tragedy of it. She believes she's doing something noble. She believes pain is her burden alone, like she's meant to clutch it tightly, so it doesn't spill out and disturb the fragile peace of everyone else's day. But time doesn't care about her intention. It doesn't care about her secrets. It doesn't care about the makeup she uses to cover the tiredness or the little jokes she throws out to distract from the trembling in her hands. Time simply keeps ticking louder and louder, until it feels like a hammer pounding against her ribs. And sooner or later, she's going to have to realize something. The truth she's hiding isn't a monster sneaking up behind her. It's the monster she's been feeding from the inside. That's the thing about hiding pain. It grows teeth. It grows claws. It grows hungry. People think survival is about strength. But real survival has always been about honesty. You can't fight an enemy you refuse to look at. You can't win a battle you're pretending isn't happening. She hasn't failed because she's sick. She hasn't failed because she's scared. She fails only when she pretends she can walk through fire without acknowledging the flame. There's something terribly beautiful about watching a person reach the moment where they can't run anymore, because that's where life finally becomes real. That's where all the illusions burn off. That's where the truth stands there, patient, almost gentle, waiting to see whether she'll crumble or rise. Maybe she hides it because she doesn't want to be pitied. Maybe she doesn't want to see the fear in someone else's eyes. Maybe she can't bear the thought of becoming a burden. But burdens are just truths carried alone for too long. Truths that become heavier each day because no one else was allowed to help lift them. And she's carrying the weight of an entire world in her chest while trying to smile like it's just a feather. But sooner or later, she'll realize something when the truth finally breaks out. It won't be her destruction. It will be her liberation. Pain is not the enemy. Secrets are. Silence is. That quiet, suffocating silence where suffering grows like mold in a locked room. You crack one window, just one, and suddenly the air changes. Suddenly the shadows aren't as tall. Suddenly the monster isn't as big as the mind made it out to be. That's the irony. The thing she thinks will protect everyone is the very thing destroying her from within you. Know what I find hilarious? How people act like the clock is some gentle little ticking friend, politely reminding them to get things done. No, the clock is a predator. A quiet, polite, well-dressed predator with perfect manners and a sharp smile. It never raises its voice, never rushes, never breaks a sweat. It just keeps moving forward, one tiny tick at a time, slicing away pieces of your life while you pretend not to notice. And this woman hiding her last age, she's running from that clock, like a child trying to outrun their own shadow. But shadows don't fall behind. They cling. The faster you run, the closer they get. Funny thing is, she's not afraid of dying. Oh, people think that's her fear, but they misunderstand her completely. She's afraid of failing before she dies, afraid of disappointing the people who look at her like she's supposed to be invincible, afraid of becoming smaller in their eyes. So she clings to this illusion of control, this idea that if she keeps her pain hidden, she can keep the world from collapsing. But the world isn't collapsing, she is. And she's doing it silently, politely. Like she doesn't want to inconvenience anyone with the sound of her breaking. That's what makes her fascinating. Most people beg for attention at the slightest hint of discomfort. A headache, a scratch, a long day, and suddenly they're narrating their suffering like it's a hero's epic. But she treats her dying like it's a secret hobby, something to hide in drawers and behind curtains, something to cry about only when no one's looking. Because admitting the truth would mean admitting she's human, fragile, breakable. And she can't stomach that. Not when she's spent her whole life being the one who holds everything together. Not when she's seen how people crumble when they realize their pillar is cracking. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You can't outrun the clock. Not her, not you, not anyone. Time is the only thing that doesn't negotiate. It doesn't pity. It doesn't pause just because someone's scared. And the stage she's hiding, it's not just a medical term. It's a reminder. A reminder that even the strongest structures have limits. A reminder that even the brightest fires burn out. A reminder that pretending everything is fine only works until the mirror stops cooperating. Yet she keeps moving through rooms like she's performing a role in a play she didn't audition for, smiling when she should be screaming. Laughing when she's moments away from collapsing, cracking jokes to stop people from asking questions. She thinks if she keeps the performance steady enough, the truth will stay backstage, waiting patiently. But truth is impatient. It hates being ignored. And the more she hides it, the louder it knocks. A cough that lingers too long, a stare that lasts too deep, a breath that doesn't quite reach the bottom of her lungs. That's truth tapping its fingers, getting bored with her silence. And somewhere deep inside, she knows what's coming. She feels it. She hears it. That faint whisper telling her she's running out of time. That flicker in her chest reminding her that denial doesn't stop decay. But she keeps going anyway, because the performance is all she has left. If she stops pretending even for a moment, the whole fragile world she's built will come crashing down around her feet. And she's terrified of that crash, terrified of the mess, terrified of forcing others to look at the wreckage. What she doesn't understand is that hiding the fall doesn't stop the impact. It only makes it lonelier. Pain shared is still pain, yes, but pain hidden becomes poison. It rots in the dark. It spreads. It rewrites the soul quietly, like a thief moving through hallways while everyone sleeps. She's not protecting anyone by hiding it. She's just locking herself in a burning room and calling it bravery. The clock ticks. The truth breathes. And she keeps pretending she can negotiate with both. But time doesn't care about bargains, and truth doesn't care about pride. They'll wait patiently until she finally stops running. And when she does, everything she's been hiding will come crawling out into the light, stretching its limbs, smiling like it's been waiting for this moment all along. You ever notice how people cling to their secrets like they're holding a cracked glass filled to the brim, fingers trembling, knuckles whitening, trying so hard not to spill a drop? That's her, holding on to the last fragments of her own truth, terrified that if anyone sees what's real happening inside her, the world will twist, collapse, judge, pity, or worse, finally understand. And understanding, oh, that's the thing she fears most. Because if they understand, then she can't pretend anymore. She can't hide behind smiles, can't bury her gasps in laughter, can't disguise the tremor in her bones with excuses about being tired or cold. No, if they understand, the game is over. And she's been playing this game with more desperation than skill. She's hiding the third stage like someone tucking a monster under the bed, hoping it won't crawl out while the house is asleep, as if sickness listens, as if decay is polite, as if mortality knocks before entering. She thinks secrecy gives her power. But secrets don't protect. Secrets consume. And the one she's carrying is hungry, chewing at her energy, her breath, her time. She smiles at people while it gnaws at her ribs like a beast she's trying to keep from growling in public. Her whole life has become a performance where the audience doesn't know they're watching someone who is unraveling scene by scene. She's mastered the art of looking fine, It's almost impressive. The straightened posture that immediately collapses when she's alone. The voice steady enough to convince others she's all right, but shaky enough that she knows she's lying. The carefully crafted excuses, oh, the creativity of someone who refuses to be a burden. Just tired. Didn't sleep well. Probably dehydrated. Must be the weather. She's built a whole library of these phrases. Shelves filled with lies she recites like poetry. Not because she wants to deceive, but because she wants to spare the people she loves from the panic she feels every morning when she wakes up. But here's the twist. In trying to protect everyone else, she's breaking herself faster. That's the thing about silence. It sharpens pain. It concentrates fear. It turns every small symptom into a haunting. When nobody knows your struggle, the struggle whispers louder. Without witnesses, suffering stops being something you endure and becomes something that surrounds you. She thinks hiding the truth keeps her strong, but it's actually making her fragile. Fragile like glass pretending to be steel. And she's exhausted. Not the kind of tired sleep can fix. This is the deep, sinking kind of exhaustion that lives inside the bones. The kind that settled behind the eyes. The kind that makes the world feel heavier than it is. She walks through her days with the weight of her secret pressing down on her spine, squeezing her chest, slowing her heartbeat. She forces herself to keep up the act, laugh at the right moments, nod at the right times, smile when everyone else smiles. But behind the curtain, she's gasping for a breath that doesn't hurt, searching for a moment that doesn't remind her of what's coming. And still, she won't say a word, because she's afraid of the reactions. The pity, the panic, the tears, the questions. She fears becoming a project, a responsibility, an obligation. She hates the thought of people looking at her with softened eyes, careful hands, whispered tones. She doesn't want to be handled gently. She doesn't want to be treated like a candle that could flicker out if someone breathes too close. So she hides the truth, thinking it gives her dignity. But dignity built on silence becomes isolation in disguise. There's another fear she's hiding even deeper. What if people don't react at all? What if she finally confesses her truth, and the world doesn't fall quiet, doesn't gasp, doesn't change? What if they shrug? What if they say, oh, and move on? The fear of being forgotten, unimportant, easily replaced. That fear sits behind her ribs like a shell waiting for the right moment to creep forward. She's terrified that her suffering might not matter, and so she hides it, convincing herself that secrecy makes her strong, when really it's the only shield she has against the possibility of being emotionally abandoned. But the truth doesn't stay buried. It scratches at the walls of her composure, leaving cracks she can't plaster forever. It shows up in the way she pauses before standing up, waiting for the dizziness to pass, in the way she touches her chest sometimes, like she's trying to calm a creature inside her, in the way her laughter cuts short, like she's saving air. People think she's distracted, busy, moody. They don't realize they're watching someone fighting a battle she's sworn to hide. She believes she can hold it all together, clutch her secret tight enough that it never escapes. But secrets like hers don't whisper forever. They grow louder, heavier, more impatient. They wait for the moment she slips, just once, and then they spill out, unstoppable, uncontrollable, exposing everything she tried to keep tucked away in the dark. You ever notice how some people take and take and take like it's their birthright? Oh, they smile, they charm, they tell you all the right things, until they don't need you anymore. Then, poof, just like that, you're nothing. Funny thing about people who take, they never think they'll lose. Oh, no. They walk around like kings, like queens, like gods, believing everything they touch belongs to them. Your love, theirs. Your kindness, theirs. Your trust, theirs. They devour it, drain it, soak up every last drop, like a thief stuffing their pockets in the dead of night. But the thing about stolen things, they never stay stolen. At first, it doesn't look like much. A small shift, a little crack in their perfect little world. Maybe they lose a deal. Maybe a friend suddenly stops calling. Maybe the people who used to worship them start hesitating before they nod along. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious. But oh, it's there. A slow leak in the foundation they thought was so unbreakable. And here's where it gets interesting. You see, they took from you because they thought it was theirs to take. But what they don't know, what they never see coming, is that what isn't earned is never truly owned. They thought your love, your time, your energy was just some infinite well they could keep pulling from. But wells? Ha! They run dry. And when they do, the ones who never learned how to fill them, oh, they suffer. The first thing to go is control. That sweet, intoxicating power they had over you, it fades. You stop reacting, you stop needing them, and they feel it, like an addict realizing the supply has been cut off. Oh, they'll act like they don't care, like it's nothing, but deep down, oh, it burns. Because for the first time they can't just take, and that terrifies them. Then the people around them start noticing. See, when they were riding high, when they had you wrapped around their little finger, they looked invincible. Oh, they were the life of the party, the one with all the answers, the one who always seemed to come out on top. But when you walked away, when their tricks stopped working, the cracks started showing. And people, they started seeing. And let's not forget karma. Ah, yes, that old friend. Now, some people don't believe in it. They think the world is just chaos, that bad people get away with bad things, that justice is some fairy tale we tell ourselves to sleep better at night. Ha, cute. But here's the thing about taking what isn't yours. It leaves you empty. Oh, sure, they had their fun. They had their power. But when you build your empire on stolen things, it never lasts. The money starts slipping. The reputation takes a hit. The golden opportunities they used to effortlessly attract, gone. Not in some dramatic explosion. No, that would be too easy. Life is much more patient than that. It just lets them wither, slowly, painfully, until one day they look around and realize they have nothing real left. And here's the kicker. Most of them don't even understand what's happening. Oh, they blame bad luck, blame the economy, blame you even. But deep down, deep down, a tiny voice whispers, you did this to yourself. But by then it's far too late. People like that, oh, they love their little masks, don't they? Perfect little costumes stitched together with lies, charm, and just the right amount of crocodile tears. They wear them so well, so convincingly, that you almost forget what's underneath. And that's the game, isn't it? Make you believe. Make everyone believe. Because as long as the illusion holds, they stay in control. They get to play the hero, the victim, the misunderstood genius, whatever role suits them best. But you know what's funny about masks? They don't last forever. They slip. They always slip. At first it's just a flicker, a moment too fast for most to catch. Maybe it's the way their smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. Maybe it's how their voice wobbles when they get caught in a lie. Maybe it's something smaller, something stupid, like the way their hands clench just a second too long when they don't get their way. Oh, but it adds up. And people start to notice. They don't see it all at once. No. That would be too easy. It's slow. A whisper here, a doubt there. The charm they use to effortlessly throw around, it starts feeling off. The sob stories they spin to make people pity them, they don't hit quite the same. And oh, that kills them. Because their power, their real power, it was never in who they were. It was in what people thought they were. And once people start seeing, once that perfect little illusion starts cracking, oh, it's over. Not all at once, no. It's more like a house of cards in slow motion. The ones closest to them start pulling away first. Maybe they don't even say anything. Maybe they just stop answering calls, stop bending over backward, stop believing the same tired excuses. And that, oh, that drives them insane. Because here's their worst fear, being exposed. See, they've spent years, maybe even a whole lifetime, building this perfect version of themselves. And they'll fight to keep it intact, deny, manipulate, twist the truth, throw anyone under the bus, whatever it takes. But life has a sick sense of humor. It doesn't rip the mask off all at once. No. It lets them sweat. It makes them watch as people turn their backs. One by one, makes them feel the weight of losing their grip. And that's when the unraveling begins. The stories don't add up anymore. The lies get sloppier, the cracks widen, and soon even the people who swore they'd never doubt them start wondering, maybe they weren't the hero of the story after all. Maybe, just maybe, they were the villain. And once that seed is planted, oh, it grows fast. Oh, they'll scramble, they always do. Try to glue the mask back on, try to prove they're still the same charming, untouchable, oh so misunderstood person they always were. But it doesn't work anymore, because once people see the truth, they can't unsee it. And for the first time, the narcissist has to face something they never thought they'd have to. Reality. And reality, oh, it doesn't play nice. Oh, the web of lies, so carefully spun, so intricately designed, like a masterful little trap made just for you. See, that's what they do, these people, these takers, these users. They weave a world where they are always right, always innocent, always the victim. And you, oh, you're just another fool, caught in the silk, struggling, tangled up, believing they are the one telling the truth. But you know the thing about webs? They're sticky. And the spider, eventually, it gets stuck in its own trap. At first, they're flawless. Their lies are airtight. Every story, every excuse, every twisted little tale is calculated. They know exactly what to say, how to say it, and who to say it to. They pit people against each other like a puppeteer pulling invisible strings, keep you confused, keep you questioning, keep you guessing, until you don't even trust your own memory. But the problem with lies, you have to remember them, and oh, that's where things start to unravel. See, the more they lie, the more they have to keep track of. The versions of their stories start stacking up like a house of cards, each one balanced just right. But the thing about a house of cards, one wrong move, one wrong word, and the whole thing collapses. Maybe they slip up. Maybe they forget what they told you versus what they told them. Maybe someone compares notes, starts asking questions, starts poking at the cracks in the illusion, and suddenly they're cornered. Suddenly, the charm, the smooth talking, the fake smiles, they don't work like they used to. And this is when they get messy. Because when they feel that grip loosening, when they sense the walls closing in, they don't admit the truth. Oh, no, no, no. That would mean losing. That would mean facing the monster they tried so hard to hide. Instead, they double down. They dig deeper. They get sloppy. They start contradicting themselves. They lash out. They try to flip the script. You're the liar. You're the manipulator. You're the problem. But the problem with turning the tables, if people are already doubting you, they're watching. And once they start watching, they see. Oh, and here's where it gets fun. See, the ones who were once on their side, they start backing away. Not all at once, not dramatically, just little by little. Maybe a friend doesn't answer their call. Maybe a colleague stops defending them. Maybe their usual tricks don't work on the people they thought they had under control. And that terrifies them. Because deep down, behind all that arrogance, behind that smug little smirk, they know. They know their kingdom was built on lies, on manipulation, on illusion. And once the illusion shatters, once people stop believing them, they have nothing. And the best part, they did it to themselves. They spun the web, they built the trap, and now they get to watch as it all falls apart, piece by piece. Luck. That's the funny thing, isn't it? Some people walk around thinking they own it, like they've got some invisible shield protecting them from the consequences of their own actions. They take, they lie, they manipulate, and yet somehow life just keeps handing them things. Money, power, influence, a never-ending buffet of opportunities just waiting for them to take a bite. And for a while, it works. It always works until it doesn't. See these kinds of people? They don't play fair. Oh no, no, no. They cut corners. They step on people. They find every little loophole, every little weakness, and exploit it for all it's worth. And for a while, the universe just watches. Lets them think they're winning. Lets them believe they've figured it all out. That they cheated the system and come out on top. But life has a sense of humor, doesn't it? A cruel, poetic, beautiful sense of humor, because just when they think they've got it all locked down, when they think they're untouchable, that's when it starts. The shift, the slow, creeping unraveling of everything they took for granted. At first, they don't even notice. Maybe a deal falls through. Maybe a sure thing suddenly isn't so sure anymore. Maybe that charm, that irresistible magnetism they used to get their way, it doesn't hit like it used to. People start hesitating. Doors that once flew open now creak just a little slower. Oh, but they won't panic. Not yet. No, no, no. They'll brush it off. Bad luck, they'll say. Just a rough patch. Because these people, they don't believe in consequences. They don't believe in paying for what they've done. But then it keeps happening. Again and again. The well starts to dry up. The people who once couldn't get enough of them, they're busy now. The tricks that used to work every single time, they fall flat. And suddenly, the narcissist is scrambling. They'll try to force it. Oh, they'll fight. They'll scheme, manipulate, pull out all their old little mind games, because that's what's always worked before, right? That's how they got ahead. But the thing about luck, you can't own it. You can borrow it, you can write it, but you can't keep it. And once it turns on you, oh, there's no getting it back. They'll start blaming people. That's the next stage. It's their fault. That friend who isn't answering calls anymore, traitor. That boss who isn't handing out favors, jealous. That partner who finally walked away, ungrateful. They'll rage, they'll scream, they'll play the victim, but deep down, oh, they can feel it slipping. Pain. Now that's a funny thing, isn't it? Some people, oh, they live to dish it out. Cut you down with a smile, twist the knife real slow just to watch you squirm. And they think, oh, they really think. They'll never taste it themselves, like they're above it. Like they're some grand puppeteer pulling strings untouched by the chaos they create. But life's got a different plan. Because sooner or later, the pain they so happily served up, it comes knocking. At first, they don't even see it. No, no, no. These kinds of people, they're blind to their own downfall. They think they're still in control, that nothing can touch them. And maybe, for a while, it looks like they're right. They go on laughing, lying, hurting, winning, because that's what they do, right? That's how it works. Until one day it does. See, the thing about pain, it's got a funny way of circling back. Not always in the way you expect, not always in the way you want, but oh, it always comes. Maybe it starts small, just a crack in their perfect little world, a betrayal, a loss, a moment where for the first time they don't get their way. And at first they brush it off, no big deal, just a fluke. They've survived worse, right? But then it happens again, and again, and again. And then, oh, then comes the real fun. Because these people, they're not built to handle pain. Oh, no, no, no. They can dish it out, sure, but take it, feel it. Ha! That's a different story. See, when they were stomping on your heart, they thought it was just part of the game. But now it's their heart in the dirt. And suddenly, the game isn't so fun anymore. Maybe it's heartbreak, maybe it's rejection, maybe it's finally realizing that no one really cares about their sob stories anymore. Maybe it's waking up and realizing they're alone. The phone doesn't ring like it used to. The attention, the admiration, the power fading, and oh, how they hate that. But the best part? The very best part? They can't run from it. See, when they hurt you, when they drained you, broke you, used you, they thought they were untouchable. But now they're feeling it. And they don't know what to do. Because this isn't how the story was supposed to go, right? They were supposed to win. They were supposed to come out on top. But instead they're drowning. And no one's coming to save them. Funny thing about masks, people wear them for so long they start to think they are the mask. They start believing their own little act, the charming one, the victim, the hero, whatever role gets them what they want. And oh, they wear it so well, don't they? The perfect smiles, the perfect words, the perfect little sob stories designed to tug at just the right strings. But there's a problem. A big one, because no mask lasts forever. No lie stays hidden forever. And when the truth comes knocking, oh, it doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door down. See, they think they're in control. They think they can spin any story, twist any situation, manipulate any person, and just walk away clean. And for a while, it works. People believe them. They take their side. They defend them. But then, then something shifts. It starts small. Maybe someone sees a glimpse, just a flicker of the real face behind the mask. A moment where the charm slips, where the lies don't line up, where the victim act falls flat. And that's when the questions start. Not out loud, not yet, but in the mind. Something's off. People don't call it out immediately. Oh, no, no, no. They watch, they listen, they wait. And the narcissist? They don't see it happening because in their mind, they're still winning. They still think they're fooling everyone. But that's the problem, isn't it? They've been wearing the mask for so long, they don't even realize it's starting to crack. They don't see the whispers. They don't see the glances. They don't see the people who once adored them slowly backing away. And then, then it happens. The exposure. Maybe it's a confrontation. Maybe it's a slow unraveling. Maybe it's just one person, one brave little voice saying, "Wait a minute." And suddenly the whole story changes. See, the thing about lies, they have a weight, and when enough of them stack up, they collapse under their own pressure. The truth, it doesn't need defending, it doesn't need proof, because once people see, really see, there's no going back. And the narcissist, they panic. They'll deny it. They'll fight it. They'll lash out, gaslight, twist, turn, try to rewrite reality itself. Because that's what they do, right? That's how they've always won. But it doesn't work anymore. Because once the mask is gone, there's nothing left but the face underneath, and it's ugly. Not the kind of ugly you see in a mirror, no. The real kind. The kind that makes people turn away. The kind that makes them realize they were never looking at a person, just a performance. And once they see that, the game's over.